Okay, it is now 5:02 p.m. Calling the regularly monthly meeting of the Bernie ISD Board of Trustees. We do have a quorum. On my left, we have Garrett Wilson, Dr. Thomas Price, Superintendent, myself, Rich Senna, Carlin Fryer, and Donna Sharp. We do have a quorum, and at this point, and we have Marisa Gonzalez Cooper coming in, so we have an even bigger quorum. So now at 5:02, we're going to go into closed session. What am I going to turn back? Pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.074, deliberation regarding matters related to employment, appointments, resignations, terminations, retirements, and reassignments, consideration of superintendent goals, evaluation, contract, salary, and benefits, discussing security assessments, district-wide intruder audits, and deliberation regarding the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property pursuant to Section 551.072 of the Texas Government Code. It is now 5:03, and we will be going into closed session. Good evening, everybody. Okay, it's now 6:30, and we will call to order the open session of the monthly meeting of the Bernie Independent School District Board of Trustees. We do have a quorum. On my left, we have Mrs. Marisa Gonzalez Cooper, Jessica Davila, Garrett Wilson, our superintendent, Dr. Thomas Price, myself, Rich Senna. We have Carlin Fryer, Donna Sharp, and Joe Tidwell. Okay, so we do have a full quorum, and now it is time for the pledge.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise, and gentlemen, please remove your caps and welcome Voss Student Council as they lead us in the Texas Pledge and the Pledge of Allegiance. And now please remain standing for a moment of silence and prayer. Thank you. You may be seated. Mr. President, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Price, our fantastic students from Voss Middle School have some questions to ask you this evening.
Excellent. Look forward to them. Who's going first?
I'm Jericho. What do you think Bernie ISD needs to improve most, and
What do we need to improve most? Okay, I'll just open it up to any trustee. Dr. Tidwell, go for it.
I think Donna should get all the questions tonight. Celebrate her last day. I don't know, same thing that I've focused on for a while. I think we do, overall, I think, and I think most people agree, we do a really, really good job with most kids and with most programs that we do. And I think we do a particularly really good job with, kind of the middle, 90%. I think part of our best areas or improvement are on both of the other ends. What I mean by that is, kids who might need a little more support to keep up with their peers, and also kids, at the top who need some more opportunities to make sure that they can, reach all their goals, which might exceed some of what we can offer. So I think that's the biggest areas for improvement. Thank you. It's a great question.
Hi, my name is Claire Hernandez. Out of all of Voss's accomplishments, which are you most proud of, and what can you expect from future students at Voss?
Yeah, go for it.
So last Thursday, I believe it was, we did the celebration of Captain Mark Tyler Voss's, the 10-year of his death. And it was an honor to be there, but it was great to honor him. And I think Voss has continued to realize how important Tyler's service to the community and to our country was. And so I think that's one of the things that Voss has done really, really good at just maintaining that that tribute to his honor.
And I would back that up. I echo what Mr. Fryer said about last week, and just the focus on the school mission, SOAR, the service, the resilience, the achievement. It gives focus to a school in a quest for excellence. So I think that's an awesome thing.
My name is Emmy Jones, and how have the Bernie ISD schools changed in the past several years?
Well, we've got 2 alumni that both graduated from Bernie High School. How many years ago, Carlin?
Yeah, much more than several years ago. You can't get out of the question that easy.
Okay, and my kids graduated a while back, but, one thing that's a change that's also on its way to coming is the advancement of our career and technical education programs. There's been a huge increase in those areas. A lot of certifications that kids can get. And right now, as part of last year's successful bond election, we're adding a wing at both Champion High School and Bernie High School. And there's an early college high school that students will be able to get an associate's degree from college, 2-year college degree, as well as their high school diploma when they graduate. And we opened up this year cybersecurity at Champion High School, which will be housed in the new wing, and at Bernie, it's going to be health careers. So there's just an increase of options for kids of what they can study and what they can learn, and how that can prepare them for a successful future. So that's one of many changes, but that certainly is something I think is noticeable. Anyone else want to add?
I think it's great that we celebrate the academic and the fine arts achievement too with the college signing days. I was telling my daughter who graduated in 2020 about that, and she was really excited to see that we're doing that so that all of the students can experience those very special moments. And I think that makes us a leader in a school district.
Hi, my name is Halle Gom, and what is one of the hardest decisions the school board had to make and why?
Maurice, you've been quiet.
One of the hardest decisions? I don't know that it was hard, but to me, one of the most daunting or kind of the biggest job that we have 3 jobs as school board members, and one of them is hiring our superintendent, who's right there in the middle. So I remember, gosh, about 6 years ago when we had the task of hiring our next superintendent. And that to me was one of the most difficult, just at the beginning when you get all of these resumes. Just think of how many people are out there that have had this job before as a superintendent. And we had about 75 people apply for the job. And they were all fantastic. And we sat there and, I'll tell you that each application was about 20 pages long. And we had to read through all these and kind of pick out, and I think we picked the absolute best of the best with Dr. Price. But that honestly was, to me, as a board member, the biggest and hardest job that I've had as a board member. Anyone else?
Yeah, I think one of the hardest things that we do is setting the budget every year. We have a limited amount of dollars that the state gives us. They cap how much we can spend per student in the district, and so you have to make choices, right, where that money goes. And you'd like to have unlimited resources where you could do a lot of cool stuff, but unfortunately there are some decisions you have to make with the budget. So, and that process is coming up here in the next month where we're gonna have to approve another budget. So.
And to back up what Garrett said, the legislature meets every 2 years. So there's a lot of work that goes involved in preparing for a legislative session, not just on the part of legislators, but on the part of trustees to express our priorities and what we'd like to see, the legislature do. and it's a moving target. It's always a challenge. It's a lot of work that goes into it. But the last few sessions, a lot of good stuff has come out of the Texas legislature. We expect there'll be a lot of good stuff this year, so we're certainly hopeful for that. To do anything we can to give you guys the best opportunities for a good education.
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys.
Look, I want to ask you all a question really quick. You don't get off scot-free either. Yeah, from any of you, I'd love to know what you think is the best or most enjoyable thing at Voss, and maybe if you want to, what's the most difficult thing about being in middle school at Voss? Either one of those, just curious, or both. Your principal's in the room before you answer, so I just want to make sure you know that.
I would say some of my favorite memories at Voss have definitely been from like sports events and just competing in the athletic department, and just we're all one big family, so it's really fun to like go away to travel games and just hang out with your friends and just have fun. And then, did you say the worst parts?
I said difficult. I was trying to stay away from the word worst, but you've got the
most
mic.
Difficult parts, definitely having to like, because there's a lot of voices at Voss, so having to agree on one thing is very difficult.
My favorite part probably of being at Voss was last year I gave a speech at the ceremony for Mark Tyler Voss, and that was really special because just getting to learn about all of that and knowing that he's a part of the legacy that lives on at Voss.
Thank you.
I think my favorite memory from Voss is definitely like sporting events, particularly track meets, because the coaches and all the athletes are really close, so we can just kind of like hang out and talk and support each other, and I don't know, it's really fun.
Thanks.
Some of my favorite memories that I think set us apart from different schools are definitely the events that celebrate and honor Captain Mark Tyler Voss's legacy, like the Shell 77 Remembrance and events like that, because I think that just really brings us all together and remembers like the legacy of our school. And I think probably just the most difficult part is we have very competitive academics and athletics, so we want to strive to be our best, and our teachers encourage us to do that. So we just always want to perform as well as they would hope.
Well, thank all of you very much. Those were great answers. Thank you.
You know, ladies, before you sit down, at the event last week at the school, several of you, I believe, spoke, and I think there were 6 or 8 student speakers, and each one of you did an outstanding job in communicating your thoughts that day. It's not always easy speaking in front of about 800 to 900 people, but you guys did a very good job at that, so congratulations. Okay, our next item on the agenda is commendations of student, staff, and community. Oh, yeah.
Mr. President, I
right,
move we approve the agenda as presented.
Okay, we got the motion before. Yes, we have a motion approved. We have a second over here. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. We have approved the agenda. Brian, it's yours. We have commendation of students.
Thank you, Mr. President, Dr. Price, Board of Trustees, and our esteemed guests. Thank you so much for being here tonight. If we could have our board and Dr. Price come down for photos. If you haven't been to a Boerne ISD board meeting before, or if you've been to just a couple, you know that every single time before our meetings, we honor the absolute best at Boerne ISD. Tonight, we have 16 commendations that will honor a total of over 140 students and staff at Boerne ISD, and we're so glad you could be with us tonight. Our first commendation honors tennis state qualifiers from Boerne and Champion High School. The Greyhounds had 5 players qualify for the UIL Class 4A State Tennis Tournament. Sam and Jess Gonzalez won the Region 4 Class 4A Championship in boys doubles. At the state tournament, the Gonzalez brothers won the state championship in boys doubles. And the champion Chargers had 3 players qualify for the Class 5A state tennis tournament. Avi Gallegos won the Region 4 championship in girls singles, while Amber Lewis and Sofia Raimondo took first in girls doubles. At the state meet, all 3 of these young ladies earned bronze medals. Let's hear it for them as well. Let's have one more big hand for our state qualifiers and our state medalists for tennis. And if we could have the parents and supporters of these fine folks raise your hands or stand up, we want to thank you for your support of this fine group as well. Congratulations, go Chargers, go Greyhounds. Our next commendation honors the 2023 UIL Class 5A State Bronze Medalist Champion Theater's one-act play. The Chargers performed the Three Musketeers at the state contest to earn their second straight state medal. The folks you see here in front of you tonight, they won the state championship last year in one-act play. So this is the first time in BISD history that a team has won back-to-back state medals in one-act play. A fantastic accomplishment by the Chargers. Champion advanced to the regional, or to the state tournament, thanks to a strong performance at the regional contest in April. The UIL one-act play contest is a competition where similarly sized Texas schools present an 18 to 40-minute play and may be adjudicated by a panel of 3 judges or a single judge. The contest is held on a single day and is open to the public. There are 6 levels of competition for one-act play: zone, district, by-district, area, region, and state. And the Chargers consistently won individual awards during their competition season as well. Let's have one more hand for the bronze medalist, Champion Chargers one-act play. And if we could have the parents and supporters of this group just raise your hands for us. We want to make sure we thank you for being here and supporting the Chargers. Congratulations, go Chargers. Thanks for being here tonight. Up next, we celebrate Boerne ISD seniors who have been named Exceptional Senior Award winners for the class of 2023 by U.S. Congressman Chip Roy, Yadriel Rivera from Champion, and Cole Gentry of Boerne. Let's hear it for these 2 fine young men. Yadriel and Cole earned the Exceptional Senior Award, which is presented to stellar seniors across Texas's 21st Congressional District for the graduating class of 2023. The winners of this award are students that have consistently displayed high levels of character, leadership, integrity, and diligence throughout their philanthropic activities, academic success, and reputations among their peers and leaders. Yadriel will attend UTSA and major in education. He wants to be a teacher. Let's give that major a hand for Yadriel. And Cole will attend Texas A&M and major in agricultural economics. Let's hear it for both of these 2 fine young men. Thank you all very much. And if your family's here, please raise your hands and support these fine folks. They appreciate your support as well. Thank you both for being here tonight. Our next commendation honors 4 Boerne ISD seniors who earned acceptance into United States military service academies. Champions Sam Krupa will attend the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy. Boerne's Sam Walters and Will French will attend the United States Military Academy. And Boerne's Houston Hendricks will attend the Air Force Academy. The United States Service Academies, also known as United States Military Academies, are federal academies for undergraduate education and training for commissioned officers for the United States Armed Forces. All applicants, except for the U.S. Coast Guard, are required to obtain a nomination to the academies, which could be made by congressional representatives, senators, the vice president, or the president. The admissions process to U.S. service academies is extensive and very competitive, and they are ranked against U.S. News and World Report. The average acceptance rate at these schools that these young men are attending are between 8 and 17%. So they are some of the absolute best in the country. One more hand for these 4 fine young men. And if your family is here, we want to make sure we thank you. Raise your hands if you're here. Thank you very much for supporting these fine individuals. Our next commendation honors track and field qualifiers for the state level from Boerne and Champion High School. Let's give them a round of applause. The Charger boys track team won the Region 4 Class 5A championship, while the Charger girls placed second. At the state meet that was held just this past weekend, Charger freshman Beth Leachman won the state championship in the 1,600 meters. And Beth has had some of the best times, not only in Texas, but in the United States this season. The Greyhounds boast 2 Region 4 champions, Tori Adams and Kendall Lem, who each competed at the state meet. At the state meet just a couple of days ago, Tori Adams won the Class 4A state silver medal in shot put for the 2nd straight season. The Champion and Boerne track teams have made us all proud and continue to excel at the state level. Let's have one more hand for our track state qualifiers. And if you're here as a supporter of these fine folks, would you just raise your hand so we know who you are? Thank you very much for supporting Boerne and Champion track. Congratulations, go Chargers, go Greyhounds. Our next commendation honors a total of 4 students from Boerne and Champion High School who earned honors at the 2023 Visual Arts Scholastic Event State Competition. Let's give them a round of applause tonight. Boerne's Braden Gardner took home 2 gold seals, which is the highest honor in the state, while Boerne's Michaela Jones and Champions Abby Powledge and Mia Shiesta all earned state medals. Over 35,000 pieces of artwork are submitted in the statewide competition, with those students placing among the highest in the state. Of the 2,100 artworks that qualified for the state competition, only 151 received a gold seal, with Braden receiving 2 of them, and she's here tonight. Let's give Braden a huge hand for her success. Congratulations. Congratulations and thank you very much for being here tonight. For our next commendation, we honor state qualifiers for golf from Bernie and Champion High School. Let's give the golfers a round of applause. The Greyhounds boys golf team, who you see in front of you tonight, won the district championship as well as the regional championship as well. Bernie's Price Hill and Braden Bays won a gold and silver individually at the regional tournament. Champion High School also has phenomenal state students. The girls are at the state golf tournament right now for Champion. But not to be outdone, their male, Phoenix Guerra, won the Class 5A gold medal in regionals as well. The boys team you see here tonight and Phoenix will compete next week at the state tournament. For Champion, Chargers Savannah Dupree won the 5A individual regional championship. So congratulations to all of our state qualifying golf teams from Champion and Bernie. Congratulations, go Chargers and go Greyhounds. Our next commendation are students who are unable to join us this evening, but we still want to tell you about their accomplishments. Bernie High School students that qualified for the UIL Academic State Meet. Emily Rainbolt took first place at the regional contest in Ready Writing. She'll compete at state in a couple of days. And Claire Stauber placed second in regionals in literary criticism, and she will also compete at state on Wednesday and Thursday of this week. They're going to watch this online, so let's clap for these girls and their accomplishments. Our next commendation honors Champion students who qualified for state competition in academics. Come on down to our Champion academic commendees. Let's give them a round of applause. Christine Schneiker was a finalist for the UIL 5A congressional debate. That's a finalist in the state. That is a fantastic accomplishment. She also placed third in Congress at the NSDA district tournament, which advanced her to the national tournament in June. Carter Lang was selected by the NSDA Central Texas District based on his performance this year to be part of a team from the San Antonio area that will compete in the World Schools Debate at the national tournament. 6 students you see here tonight qualified for the Business Professionals of America state competition, with Carson Fast placing 6th in the state for human resource management. The Chargers competed at various state events against hundreds of competitors from across Texas. Let's give these Chargers a great hand for those who qualified for state competition. Congratulations. Congratulations, go Chargers. Thank you for being here tonight. Our next commendation celebrates Bernie ISD Fine Arts Music Programs, who have been honored with the Best Communities for Music Education designation from the NAM Foundation. Let's give our fine arts a hand this evening. Bernie ISD also earned this honor in 2021. Now in its 24th year, the Best Communities for Music Education designation is awarded to districts that demonstrate outstanding achievement in efforts to provide music access and education to all students. To qualify for the Best Communities designation, BISD answered detailed questions about funding, graduation requirements, music class participation, instruction time, and more, and their responses were reviewed by the Music Research Institute at the University of Kansas. This is a huge award. Let's congratulate Boerne ISD Fine Arts for this accomplishment. Congratulations. Thank you all for being here tonight. These are some of our directors from across Boerne ISD. So thank you all for being here tonight and to share this award with the community. Our next commendation honors FABRA Principal Troy Latiolis for receiving the Distinguished Administrator designation from the Texas Music Educators Association. The TMEA Distinguished Administrator designation honors upper-level school administrators who have been instrumental in preserving quality music education programs on their campuses and in their districts. Mr. Latiolis was nominated for the award by FABRA music teacher Claudia Salazar. He has supported and encouraged expanding music offerings at FABRA, including an after-school music theater club. Mr. Latiolis has also assisted with various concerts and other choir performances, from song selection to social media promotion and more. He has served as FABRA principal since May of 2019, and he was previously the assistant principal at the campus, and Ms. Salazar is joining us tonight as well. Congratulations to Mr. Latiolis, the distinguished educator from Texas Music Educators Association. And I know his family's here, so girls, say hello to the crowd and congratulate your dad as well. Thank you for being here. So if you want help with your playlist, he's the guy to go to for song selection. Up next, Boerne Greyhounds girls basketball coach Amy Reedy, the Texas High School Coaches Association Region 8 Coach of the Year. Let's give Coach Reedy a round of applause. The Greyhounds girls basketball team made history as they advanced to the state Final Four for the second time in the past 3 seasons. Boerne finished an amazing season this year with an overall record of 35-2. In the last 2 years, the Greyhounds have won 69 games and have lost only 7. The Greyhounds have won the state bronze medal in 2 of the past 3 seasons. Coach Reedy is in her 14th season at Boerne High. She also serves as assistant team tennis coach and teaches 11th grade U.S. history. Congratulations, Coach Reedy, on all your success. Thank you, Coach, for being here. Congratulations again. Go Greyhounds. Our next commendation honors champion boys basketball coach Chris Adamek, who was a finalist for the Texas Association of Basketball Coaches 5A Don Coleman Outstanding Coach Award. That's a statewide honor. Let's give a hand to Coach Adamek. The Chargers have had tremendous success under Coach Adamek, having advanced to the UIL Class 5A State Final Four last season and to the regional semifinals this year. And Coach Adamek's 5 seasons with the Chargers, his teams have won 25 or more games 5 times and have won 30 or more games in back-to-back seasons. Coach is a Boerne graduate and a member of the 1990 state finalist Greyhound basketball squad. He currently coaches and he teaches college prep math at Champion. Congratulations, Coach Adamek, on all your success. Congratulations, Coach. Go Chargers. Thank you for being here tonight. Our next commendation honors 2 Boerne police officers and BISD school resource officers for earning awards from their department. Let's give these 2 gentlemen a huge round of applause. Officer Roger Fuentes, the Boerne High School SRO, won the Top Gun Award. The Top Gun Award is given to the officer with the highest hit factor in annual marksmanship, taking into accountability, accuracy, and speed. And you might be wondering, well, why is Officer Fuentes dressed as a civilian? His wife just gave birth on Friday to their first child. Congratulations, Officer Fuentes. And we have Corporal David Chavez, the SRO at Boerne Middle School North. He won the Fit for Duty Award. The Fit for Duty Award is given to the top performer on the annual physical agility test all officers must complete. Corporal Chavez was awarded the Fit for Duty Award among Boerne PD male officers. Boerne Chief of Police Steve Perez said about these fine 2 individuals, the Boerne Police Department is home to outstanding officers and staff who work each day to protect and serve our wonderful community. It's a privilege to recognize their work and share in their achievements for outstanding service and performance. Congratulations, Corporal Chavez and Officer Fuentes. Congratulations, gentlemen. Thank you for your service. And now Dr. Price will honor our Strategic Planning Committee. If we could have our Strategic Planning Committee come on down, we want to honor you for your hard work. Let's give them a great hand for our Strategic Planning Committee.
Well, theater has y'all beat, so. We wanted to take some time to just thank this group. Every about 5 years, an organization needs to really reflect upon where they want to go the next 5 years. We're coming out of COVID. We had to figure out what our next steps were. Everyone wants to talk about building, but this organization and this strategic plan is about instruction, because we need to know what goes on inside the buildings before we decide what we're going to build the outside. And in the past, what this has resulted in, the first time we did this 5 years ago was, and Rich mentioned this earlier, the early colleges at both of the campuses, the medical fields and the cybersecurity. And as we really start looking about the next 5 years, what do we want our inside of our schools, our academic side to look like? And that's really more important than the outside. As we go through this. And these folks gave up their time and hours of just going through and really looking at the data, looking at some hard decisions, because I think Garrett mentioned earlier, one of the hard decisions is about money. How far does it go? And again, not the buildings, but when you talk about programs, when you talk about adding early colleges, or some of the programs that we're looking at, robotics and our STEM programs, we have to make some hard decisions about when, more than anything else, and the how. And we made sure we had a wide variety of folks. We kicked this off with the community members coming in, giving us some input. And these folks just, when you put a lot of different people together with a lot of unintentional different agendas, because they represent different schools, they represent different departments, and give them the freedom to speak their mind and really look critically at what we've accomplished in the past and what we want to. They did a good job, and no one hurt each other. And that's an important part of school too. So it's learning those things. And I just wanted to take the time to thank you, let you know this. Our first one they did when I first arrived, we lived that. A lot of times when an organization does a strategic plan, it's a good thing that looks good on the wall or in a folder somewhere, but we lived it and we accomplished it, and really is what got us through COVID. having a uniform understanding about how we can support each other and support our families and support our students. I think this group has gotten us ready for the next 5 years as we go through. And now one of the things they will, along with the community, when we introduce this over the next couple of months, is hold us accountable. We have to make sure if we say we're going to do it, we're going to do that, and that's part of our scorecard. So thank you all for giving that time, making some of those hard decisions and hard suggestions, and thank you all. Thank you. Hey, how'd it go? Hey, before we disperse, we've got two things that we would like to do. One of the things that will occur tonight is we will swear in some new people to be board members, but also we have to say we do reorganization. So we want to take a moment to do a little bit of reflection and thanks. Rich Senna served as the board president last year, and it's a really difficult position, partially because he has to work with me for the full year, and we get to know each other and talk a lot about what's going on. And also, there's only two people really in the district that are supposed to be our spokespeople, and it's me and it's the board president. And hard-working guy, out all the time. People know him because he puts his heart out there, and we want to thank you for what you've done this year, and we have a plaque for you.
You could come in front right here for me.
And the next one, we have to, not goodbye, so long. Special person, known since I've been here, known before I got here, came out to visit Humble and check me out. And but what I've learned from her serving as president one time with me through COVID, very tough lady, in a good way, always caring about our students first, not about the adults. And that's hard sometimes because we work mostly with adults and adult voices. But she always, in our discussions, always kept circling back to what does this mean for our students? And you need that on a board that works with 11,000 students. And just the tenderness of her heart, the goodness for the community. Christy's got a little big shoes to fill, but I think she can do it. So thank you, Donna, for doing everything.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I know. Well, I'm the bad too.
And I thank y'all so much. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Okay, don't make me. I'm tough. Remember, don't make me cry. Tommy, I want to say thank you, and board and the most wonderful staff of BISD. Y'all are amazing. I've sat in some committees and I sit by you and I hear your passion and your love for our students, and I'm just always overwhelmed and impressed and appreciative. And so, and community. This district is amazing because all of y'all, and this board has been phenomenal. It's been a pleasure and an honor to serve with each and every one of you, and your passion is limitless. And Christy, I'm so glad that you're coming on board. I truly am, because my heart is at peace knowing that it's going to be in good hands. So thank you all, and especially this team. You guys do amazing work, and our students are so much better for it, and you make lifelong impact on every one of them in this community. So thank you all so very much. And I'm honored.
This for you. We'll go right up front.
So one of the things that I really was important is it wasn't about not everybody likes being down.
Probably after the swearing in.
You know, we probably could stay here for a while giving testimonials and kudos to you, but 9 years, your service to Bernie ISD and the children goes way beyond 9 years. I first met you around 15 years ago. You were selling raffle tickets for Bernie Education Foundation. Where's Nicole? Okay, hey Nicole. Okay, she was doing it 15 years ago, and how could I say no to you? I couldn't say no to you. And we just started talking, and I got to know you. And then a couple of seats came open on the board, and I heard you were running, and I wanted to run. And the thing that has always impressed me about you is it's always about the children. You keep the focus on the kids. And if we ever want to know why we do what we do, we go into a school and we read to kids. We talk to kids. And that reminds us why we do what we do. And you've always been there, a champion for them in many, many different respects. So we're going to miss you. But I will echo Dr. Price that you have a great replacement coming. So we're very excited about that. So.
If you could stay up here. One more hand for Mr. Senna and Mrs. Sharp.
I'm going to get a picture of those two together. Here, get a picture of those two together with the class. Yeah.
I don't want to be in the picture. That's why I'm doing it. I didn't want to be in the picture. No. Here. I don't know where to put it.
Here, I got it. I got it.
Okay, yes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to swear in our new board members. So we have Mr. Rich Senna, and if we could call up Mrs. Christy Schmidt, and to administer the oath of office, our 451st District Judge, the Honorable Kirsten Cahoon. Let's give Judge Cahoon a round of applause. Thank you for being here.
I will take this. Okay, I can do it. All right. Well, you know he likes you guys to be right up here in the front. I've been watching. I'm trying to help.
Maybe you could speak into the microphone
Yes. All right. Ladies first, Rich. I'm sorry. I'm gonna do Miss Schmidt first. Okay, Miss Schmidt, would you go ahead and raise your right hand? I, Christy Schmidt, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of Bernie ISD Trustee Place 6
the duties of the office of Bernie ISD Place 6
of the state of Texas,
and
will to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and the laws of the United States and of this state. So help me God. It's perfect. She did it. Wait, you can't go anywhere. You have to sign and make it official. There you go. It's official. Mr. Senna, this isn't your first rodeo. I, Rich Senna,
I, Rich Senna,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office of Bernie ISD Trustee, Place 7.
the duties of the office of Bernie ISD Trustee, Place 7
Very good. Of the state of Texas.
of the state of Texas,
And will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and laws
and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me
So
God.
help me God.
It's official.
All right.
You got to sign right there, and then it will really be official. Fabulous. Thank you. You guys get a picture together.
And then, Mrs. Schmidt, can we get your family for a photo as well? And then Mr. Senna will.
Let me get it. Let me get it. Oh, no. No, I don't need to.
You want a picture with you and Christine, please?
I'll do that when they're done.
Okay.
My name's John Free. And pray and thank you, board, for all your work that you do on behalf of our kids. I had 4 children graduate from BISD schools, and I appreciate your hard work.
Christy, it looks like you have a presentation to make. Okay. At this time, in accordance with board policy, we will conduct the reorganization of the board. The Bernie ISD Board of Trustees will elect officers as follows: board president, vice president, and secretary. Do we have any nominees for these positions?
Mr. President, I'd like to nominate Mr. Carlin Fryer as president, Mr. Garrett Wilson as vice president, and Dr. Joe Tidwell as our secretary.
Okay, we have a nomination. Are there any other nominations? Okay, hearing none. I guess we ask for a vote. All those in favor of the nominations, say aye. Oh, yeah, thank you. I'm already getting rusty on this job, okay. Okay, we have a nomination and a second. All those in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, congratulations, Harlan, Garrett, and Joe. So we're going to move some seats, are we not? All right.
Lots of tough shoes to fill tonight, so. Well, thank you very much, Rich, again, for your service, and we're glad to have you on board with us continuing. So, Brian, next item on the agenda, we have BISD video highlights.
Yes, Mr. President. Tonight we're going to see 3 videos. We're going to have the Bernie ISD Teacher of the Year video where we interviewed Mrs. Bunker. We'll also have Principal of the Day from Faber Elementary and this month's BEF Wow moment. So here are the Bernie ISD video highlights.
Hi, I'm Cameron Browick, and I'm here with my sister, Kendall Browick. Today's wow moment will be in Miss Shipman's classroom, where the students are learning how to play chopsticks on the Orff instruments.
I wrote a grant for Orff Instruments. As you can see back here, every student has their own instrument. They're not waiting on each other to play. They're not waiting on each other to learn their parts in music. And so we're accomplishing so much more than what we could have done if we only had a few instruments. So this is just a great thing to have enough instruments for everybody. Thank you so much, Bernie Education Foundation. We couldn't do this without you. We're learning so much, and we just appreciate it so much, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for supporting every student, every teacher, and every school in Bernie ISD.
Hi, I'm Kennedy Rickman with KDOG News. BISD is known for a lot of great things. One of them is having the best of the best teachers around. And here in Bernie North, the best of the best is a part of our school. I sat down with Mrs. Bunker and asked her about her amazing career here in Bernie.
So what was your reaction when you got Teacher of the Year?
I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked. I'm not going to lie to you because I know that there are far better teachers out there than me teaching right here on this campus. You know, I really do because, you know, I'm thankful for all of their insight. But I know that there are teachers that I work with every day that work harder than I am, that know more than I am, and that I was chosen to do this is a recognition that I'll always be grateful for.
What's your favorite thing about BISD?
The kids are great, but honestly, what I love about it is the teachers. I have so many teacher friends, and I have so many people along the way that has been so helpful, and they have gone out of their way to help me grow, to help me become who I am right now. And it wasn't without their help that let me become the teacher that I have grown to be. If I didn't have those people in my life, and it's something special about who they hire. And I really do believe that because I know that there are other districts who, you know, are a little bit less sharing like that, but not here. Everybody that you have asked for help is gladly and generously giving it to you.
What is your favorite thing about teaching?
My favorite thing about teaching? Well, I love teaching 6th grade. I really do. I think y'all are a phenomenal group of kids. So knowing that, I really like being able to see their little faces, teach them new things. It's fun. You know, 6th grade is kind of, you know, my jam. I really like them. I think it's a great way to start my day. At the end of the day, when a kid leaves and they're like, thank you, Mrs. Bunker, thank you for teaching me, that really just warms your heart when you're like, you know what, I don't know what I could have done up there, but they're so thankful and they're just, so happy that you're there willingly to do your job, cheerfully. And that's what I need to do about that. I just really know that I can make an impact, and I know that I have a chance to love on these kids whenever maybe no one else is.
Yeah. Well, there you go. A great story from a great teacher like Mrs. Bunker. I'm Kennedy Rickman. Thank you for watching.
Hi, my name is Annalie Bixler. I am in 3rd grade, and the school that I go to is Father Elementary, and I will be your principal for the day.
I think Principal of the Day is a wonderful opportunity for students to just get to see what happens on a daily basis outside the four walls of their own classroom. So they get the opportunity to not only shadow myself, but interact with other office staff members, pop in and out of classrooms, and just get to see all the inner workings of a campus on a daily basis. Annalie is a student who has asked me about Principal of the Day probably going on 3 years straight. So her level of excitement has been second to none. She was here bright and early this morning, has stuck by my side, and she has done just an incredible job of checking in on staff and students.
Letting them talk to me when they need somebody to talk to, helping people at the car drop-off, talking to people when they need you.
And just doing whatever is needed to keep Faber running smoothly.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian. No visitors tonight from the videos? No? Okay. Next item on the agenda then will be consider action, if any, regarding items discussed in closed session, and I don't believe there are any action items, right? Okay. So next item is going to be visitor comments and testimonials. So I'll read from our board policy. The board encourages comments about the district from citizens of the district or from district employees. Anyone wishing to speak, either as an individual or as a representative of a group, may do so at this time. The board asks that each participant's comments pertain to public education and be no longer than 3 minutes. The overall time limit for comments will be 30 minutes. Remember that the board may not discuss or act upon any issues that are not posted on our agenda. If an issue mentioned is listed on tonight's agenda, the board will defer discussion of the issue until the appropriate time during the meeting. The board encourages the public to discuss concerns with an appropriate administrator who has the authority to address the concerns. The concerns should be expressed as soon as possible to allow early resolution at the lowest possible administrative level. Finally, please be aware that the rules of decorum will be enforced during the public comment period and throughout the meeting. Disruptive behavior will not be tolerated. Those who choose to engage in disruptive behavior may be asked to leave. Each participant is legally responsible for the content and consequences of his or her own statements. So with that, we have 10 speakers signed up tonight. Susanna Hogan, you are our first speaker.
Had to shift my speech a little bit. President Frere, Dr. Price, members of the board, my name is Susanna Hogan, and I am PFLAG Bernie's president. I'm here to talk about school clubs requiring parent permission and how limiting and dangerous that can be for our LGBT youth and other students. There are students who attend LGBT events who don't feel safe at home. A GSA, art club, or other school club may be the only safe space they have. By requiring a permission slip, you could be taking that one safe space away from them, potentially increasing the risk of self-harm or suicide. This is a tough conversation, I know, but this doesn't just affect LGBT kids. This could affect a lot of other high-risk kids as well. I say this because I was this kid. You see, I'm a child abuse survivor, and I didn't get out of that cycle until I was 19 because I didn't see another option. Without teachers stepping in, filling my voids with love of writing, singing, photography, I don't know if I'd be here. And even with them stepping in the way they did, I still never felt safe enough to tell them exactly what was happening at home. Counselors and teachers stepping in and asking students if they feel safe, supported, and heard is necessary and important, and I applaud any teacher, admin, or SPED counselor coordinator for doing so. I know there is always pushback from parents who have a specific track that they have put their children on. That track or dream is usually theirs and not always the child's. And like me, they also may not see a way out. Teachers and counselors who are going above and beyond, keep doing what you're doing. You're helping these students blossom and thrive. And like me, they will be forever grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hogan. Our next speaker is Michelle Heimbauer. If I'm saying that correctly.
Last month was the first board meeting I've attended since moving to Boerne this past July, and after listening to the majority who spoke, I felt compelled to plan on speaking today. My name is Michelle Heimbauer. I have been in the education field for almost 30 years as an SLP, learning specialist, administrator, and researcher. Most of my research focuses on what factors are most likely to lead to postgraduate success and life satisfaction. The number one factor my team and I have found repeatedly: supportive relationships. If a student has a supportive family member and a supportive teacher, someone they feel understands who they are and what their goals are, and a friend, someone they feel they can go to for support or to share successes with, then their chance of life satisfaction and success soars significantly. Without those relationships, post-grad success is arduous at best. Relationships matter. Being and feeling supported matter. This is not a given for all students, true, but for students of the LGBTQ community, it is very rare to have these relationships to rely upon. This is why GSA matters. I asked former and current GSA members about their GSA, why it was important to them. Here are some of their thoughts. As a trans and queer person, I found a support system and friends who love me, and I can be myself unconditionally. As an ally, I learned how to interrupt bias and bullying against my peers. People ask me why I'm in GSA as a straight teen. I say I want to be a supportive friend. It makes me a better person. It's my only safe place. It's where I'm loved. It's where I find hope. There is no reliable evidence that GSAs harm non-LGBTQ youth. There are mountains of evidence that it supports both the LGBTQ and heteronormative teens. Regardless of GSA membership, GSAs are associated with a range of positive outcomes for students. Higher grade point averages, more school belonging, feeling safe at school, lower levels of smoking, drinking, and drug use, lower levels of sex and with casual partners, lower levels of psychological distress and depressive symptoms, lower levels of suicidal ideation, greater self-esteem, and more hope for the future. As my family and I were considering moving to this town, our Google searches repeatedly mentioned that the town still clings to its free-thinking German roots found in its history, as it started as a refuge for intellectuals. I do hope this is true, and we are not guided by fear, but courage and informed decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Next speaker is Denise Gardner.
Good evening. As we witness the breakdown of family values all across society, grooming children away from their parents is becoming more and more of a trend, and it's creeping into our schools. It's under the guise of being tolerant and kind while providing a safe space. Back in my day, it was more obvious. Groomers try to come across as kind by being friendly and by giving kids candy or something similar. When I was in 8th grade, my PE teacher was one of them. A few years later, he was a convicted pedophile. Luckily, I recognized his grooming behavior and stayed far away. Today, it is no longer just the pedophiles doing the grooming, and it's a lot more sneaky. Some people in our schools and community, whether they know it or not, are paving the way for this behavior to be acceptable, leaving our kids vulnerable. A counselor's recent actions at Champion during a meeting with a student is one such example. The student recorded the meeting, which is the only way we know what happened. He was brought in unexpectedly under his IEP. During the meeting, the counselor reminds the student that she is a safe space. She then proceeded with a series of unnecessary questions regarding his feelings about his sexuality. She even reassured him that none of this would be shared with his mom. His sexuality was none of her business. His parents had no idea that this conversation was taking place. The counselor abused her authority and crossed a line. This is what we call grooming. She disregarded the fact that he is a minor. She's not the parent and shouldn't be asking probing and inappropriate questions, especially when he didn't even bring up the subject matter. I attended the meeting where she was confronted by the parent and listened to her justify it. I am appalled that she thought this was okay to interrogate a child the way she did and go behind the parent's back. What I see happening on a larger scale, as we saw during Kindness Week, is a form of modern-day gang culture. Kids who may be perceived as lost or in need of belonging, which is practically normal at this age during one of the most vulnerable and confusing times of their lives, are essentially being preyed upon and recruited away from their parents at a time when they need their parents the most, implying that their parents are a potentially dangerous space in order to sweep in and become their safe space. Hence all the secrecy, this being under the notion of love and acceptance as if others have more love to give than their own parents. This is a lie. It doesn't matter how loving someone's intentions are. When a school counselor tries to get in between a parent and a child, a serious line has been crossed. It is the family that is the fundamental unit of society. Parents have ultimate authority regarding their children. The schools exist to support the family unit, not to replace it. Boundaries regarding what's appropriate between adults and minors, sexuality being the biggest one, need to be set in place for a reason. They are there for everyone's protection and must never be crossed. Thank you.
Next speaker is Colette Kearns.
Good evening, Board. On April 24th, my son addressed the Boerne ISD Board of Trustees. He gave a compelling speech asking for changes to be made so that all students could be safe and protected from indoctrination. He wrote that speech himself. Sitting on the floor of my office, he dictated what he wanted to say, and I, as his advocate, helped him organize his thoughts so the speech would flow. He did an amazing job and spoke with integrity and conviction. So why did a school district licensed specialist in school psychology decide that it was okay to bring him in for a counseling session related to his IEP and ask him how he felt speaking to that board? If he was comfortable doing it, and if the words were his own, and if he could take ownership of them. He has, like anyone else, a fundamental right to freedom of speech. His integrity should not be questioned by any person of authority because it was his choice to speak and it was his words that he felt the board needed to hear. This form of intimidation will not be tolerated. It is a blatant disrespect of ethics. The counselor went on to ask my son many other inappropriate questions, including ones about his sexuality, noting that his parents would not be informed of their conversation due to confidentiality. I do not understand how any of this has to do with my son's education. It is a violation of parental rights and, quite frankly, a form of grooming to tell a child that if he shares intimate details with them, that they won't be shared with his parents. I don't care who you are or where you stand, it's wrong, and it is grooming. Parental rights are an integral part of any student's education. I mentioned in my last speech that they are slowly becoming a vanishing commodity. I want to know that the BISD board, Dr. Price, and district staff all support parental rights. I am the Kendall County Chapter Chair for Moms for Liberty. We are a group of dedicated people fighting for our children's rights in education and our rights as parents in all aspects of our child's lives. Tonight, I am asking the board and Dr. Price to sign the Moms for Liberty resolution to uphold parental rights in this district. Show us that you truly have our backs as parents. Show us how you have integrity, accountability, and honor. Show us that parental rights matter in your district. Most importantly, show us on paper that the parents and students in your district are heard loud and clear. I'm going to leave the resolution up here on the podium for the board to sign. If they sign it, we hope it will be posted on the BISD website for everyone to see. Thank you.
Ms. Kearns. Next speaker is Emily Hamby Irvine.
Good evening. My name is Emily Hamby Irvine, and I'm here to speak specifically about parental rights. I echo the comments and sentiments of everybody that went before me, Denise and Colette, and I'm also here to offer some suggestions on how you can support our rights as parents. First is clear communication. Establish open and transparent lines between parents and school administrators. This was not accomplished in the Champion High School debacle with the GSA. Let's talk about number 2, which is parental involvement. Actively seek parent input when making decisions that affect students and families. Number 3, parental rights training for staff. Provide training for teachers and staff on the importance of parental rights, boundaries, effective communication with parents, and strategies for resolving conflicts or disagreements. Help educators understand the legal and ethical obligations associated with respecting parental rights and provide guidance on how to navigate challenging situations. Number 4, parental rights awareness campaigns. Conduct awareness campaigns or workshops to educate parents, teachers, and staff about parental rights and the importance of respecting them. Provide materials, handbooks, or online resources that clearly outline parental rights and how they can be upheld within the school community. Policy development. Develop clear and comprehensive policies that explicitly recognize and respect parental rights. Ensure that these policies are widely disseminated and easily accessible to parents, staff, and students. Regularly review and update these policies to reflect the evolving needs and expectations of parents. By implementing these recommendations, Boerne ISD can create a welcoming environment where parental rights are acknowledged, respected, and upheld. We do not co-parent with Boerne ISD, the school board, the government, or the teachers here. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Antonio Aguilar.
Thank you. I'm not here to talk about the incident at Champion High School directly. That's been addressed by other people. What I want to talk about is the lack of openness and transparency from the school board and the district leadership. I think everyone, regardless of how they feel about the incident, they'd like to see a little bit more transparency and openness. To date, the district has refused to publicly acknowledge that the incident even happened. Privately, you have admitted that someone violated policy and invited a controversial speaker to talk to the students without the parents being notified, but you won't publicly admit this. You also refused to provide any information on who was responsible or how the issue has been addressed. Rumor has it that you did fire the teacher responsible. We don't know. Nobody on either side of this issue, whether they support the speaker or oppose the speaker, nobody knows. All we have to work off is rumors because you won't tell us. Dr. Price, you're certainly being paid enough to take the time to be open with us. TA shows that you make $300,000 a year. For that kind of taxpayer-funded salary, you could take some time to be open with parents and the voters in this district. Members of the board, you are in those seats because the voters put you there. You work for us, not the other way around. The school district does not own our children. You borrow our children for a few hours a day, and we expect you to be open with us and transparent. All of you need to do better. You serve at the pleasure of the voters. You work for us, not the other way around. The fact that you seem to have forgotten. Just because we have to fund you through our taxes doesn't mean we don't have a say here. If you don't remember who you work for, then the next time an election comes around, you may be reminded by the voters in this district. You have an obligation to be open, honest, and transparent. You need to start fulfilling it. Thank you.
All right, our next speaker is Hunter Shelby.
Good evening, Dr. Price and Board of Trustees. My purpose for speaking to you all this evening is simply to say thank you. Recently, my senior learned via email that his request to wear cords that demonstrated his attainment of the rank of Eagle Scout was denied by the district. Within 3 days, this decision was changed, and administrative regulations were rewritten to allow the merit in community service through 501(c) community service organizations, which included the rank of Eagle Scout and Scouts BSA. We appreciate this immediate action to recognize this accomplishment that Eagle Scouts have attained for their high school graduation. Earning the rank of Eagle Scout is much more than just merit in community service. My concern goes well beyond whether Boerne ISD students can wear certain cords at graduation, but how regulations are reflected in documents that parents understand and may access. If there was a regulation that had already disallowed Eagle Scout cords, how would parents know this information? Other than receiving a request for permission to wear anything beyond what the school provides during graduation ceremonies doesn't exist. Boerne ISD is a highly respected and reputable public school system, but it could be so much better. If information as simple as what types of honor cords graduates were clearly identified to the parents and the community. How might you include parents and the larger Boerne ISD community in these decisions in the future so that the rules or administrative regulations are communicated to the greater school community? How can Bernie ISD provide more purposeful interactions between the community and the school system to reflect the values and beliefs of the greater Bernie ISD community? I appreciate your consideration of including administrative regulations in the student parent handbook and other documents so that parents can be more informed and included in the education and recognition of their students' achievements. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Mr. Shelby, Burt Miller next.
Howdy, y'all. How y'all doing? I'm here this evening in a spirit of love and a spirit of how we can just make this a good school district. Y'all heard some strong opinions on both sides. I'm a lawyer, so I've seen mediations where somebody comes in on one side and very far that side, somebody's on that side. We just need to get the best solution we can for our community and the best interests of our kids. So in that spirit, I'd like to share with you a letter from my adult child who he wrote this addressing the school board and those in leadership in the BISD. My child graduated from Bernie Middle School South in 2012. So here's the letter. Hey, my name is Don. I'm a product of Bernie, Texas in a lot of ways. I went to Fair Oaks Ranch Elementary School and Bernie Middle School South for a total of 9 years. All my siblings graduated from Champion High School, but I sadly was not afforded the same opportunity. I fled the Bernie school system as a young queer and trans person because I was afraid how I would be harmed or how I would harm myself if I went to Champion High School. The only examples of queer people who had come out of high school before me were two students who did not fare very well. One of them had to take his life and ended up at homeschooled in and out of patient psychiatric care. The other student got addicted to drugs and left school to pursue sex work. These are not isolated cases. The only options presented for students in Bernie who realize they are queer is to stay closeted or shamed for years and come out when they escape Texas or come out and face endless ridicule and shame. I chose to go to school in San Antonio for safety. I was only afforded that opportunity because my parents had the privilege and resources to get me to school 45 minutes away from my home. Queer kids in Bernie should have the choice to be out in their school and be safe. And that takes action from those in power to protect young queer and trans people. Most LGBT people who grow up in Bernie leave at best with internalized shame and stigma that they will hold with them the rest of their lives. At worst, the LGBTQ youth that grow up here, die here because of the hate and harm this community shows. I believe Bernie can be a safe and uplifting place for everyone, including queer and trans youth. I run my own theater and arts company in Chicago, and I have a wonderful trans partner, despite the harm and bullying I faced in Bernie's school system. I know Bernie can build a more inclusive school system, but that starts with y'all. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Janine Castillo.
Hey, so I'm back. I spoke last month. Tonight, I'm here to speak out in support of the community of Bernie School District. I'm here to speak in support of all the folks involved, all of the teachers, all of the kiddos, support for all of the staff, all the way up to the school board members. Public school is a vital element within the successful community of Bernie, and it is hard work to consistently provide a secure and thriving environment for so many within Bernie. So I'm here for support. I am not here to make demands and insist our school district meet my individual expectations. I am not here to dictate that the school district directly uphold what my individual family believes, or to dictate what the school district must do to ensure my personal relationship with my child stays healthy.
That is my parental responsibility, and I am accountable in that responsibility. It is up to me to teach and cultivate a foundation within my kiddos. That is the priority of my relationship with my kids, to equip them to be individuals of integrity in all the spaces that they are a part of when I am not right there by their side. It is a parental priority of mine to teach and guide them so that when they have feelings of discomfort, they do not look to others to fix things and make them feel better. I teach much more emotional intelligence and elements of autonomy to them. We teach accountability in our home and that all choices and behaviors have consequences. We teach that no matter how justified or sanctified you feel about your behavior, you are always open to differing opinions, criticism, and judgment from others. Teaching accountability is teaching my kids that the beliefs and intentions behind words and actions never excuses causing harm to others. Understanding that accountability can feel like an attack when you are not capable or ready to acknowledge how your behavior harms others. But those are some of my priorities as a parent. They do not have to be the priorities of others, and they are not the responsibility of the school district just because they are mine. So, tonight I am here to not only offer my voice in support of our community's public school system, but to also offer my time and effort to work together from within our public school system. I don't have magic solutions, but I do have commitment and the ability to think critically about complex and nuanced situations. If BISD wants to dig in and do the work, I'm in. Legit, I'm here for it. I'm here to be a part of solutions and problem solving and to work together to progress forward in ensuring our campuses keep the whole child focus and continue to provide secure environments for children and staff to thrive. I am here to do the work with the school district that will ensure a compassionate and intelligent community throughout Boerne.
All right, and our final speaker is Nicole Haygood.
Good evening. I know I'm going to run out of time, so I'm going to leave a copy of my speech here for y'all to review afterwards so you can see the whole thing. My speech comes directly from the CDC's website. Most lesbian, gay, bisexual youth are happy and thrive during their adolescent years. Having a school that creates a safe, supportive learning environment for all students and having caring and accepting parents are especially important. Positive environments can help all youth achieve good grades and maintain good mental and physical health. However, some LGBT youth are more likely than their heterosexual peers to experience negative health and life outcomes. For youth to thrive in schools and communities, they need to feel socially, emotionally, and physically safe and supported. A positive school climate has been associated with decreased depression, suicidal feelings, substance use, and unexcused school absences among LGBT students. Compared with other students, negative attitudes towards LGBT persons may put those youth at risk for experiences of violence. Violence can include behaviors such as bullying, teasing, harassment, and physical assault. According to data from a 2015 National Youth Risk Behavior Survey of LGBT students, 10% were threatened or injured with a weapon on school property, 34% were bullied on school property, and 28% were bullied electronically. Exposure to violence can have negative effects for the education and health of any young person and may account for some of the health-related disparities between LGBT youth and heterosexual youth. According to the 2015 survey, LGBT students were 140% more likely not to go to school at least one day during 30 days prior to the survey because of safety concerns compared with their heterosexual youth. While not a direct measure of school performance, absenteeism has been linked to low graduation rates have lifelong consequences. Complex combination of factors can impact youth health outcomes. LGBT youth are at greater risk for depression, suicide, and substance. Nearly 1/3 of LGBT youth have suicide at least once prior in the year compared to 6% of heterosexual youth. Schools can implement evidence-based policies, procedures, and activities designed to promote a healthy environment for all youth, including LGBT students. For example, research has shown that schools with LGBT support groups such as gay-straight alliances, LGBT students were were less likely to experience threats of violence, miss school because they felt unsafe, or attempt suicide than those students in schools without LGB support. Recent study found that LGB students had fewer suicidal thoughts and attempts when schools had gay-straight alliances and policies prohibiting expression of homophobia in place for 3 or more years. To help promote health and safety among LGB youth, schools can implement the following policies and practices. Encourage respect for all students and prohibit bullying, harassment, and violence against all students. Identify safe spaces.
Ms. Haygood. I thank you, speakers. We will move on to the consent agenda. Does anyone have anything they want to pull out of the consent agenda? No, then I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any comments or conversation?
Yeah, Mr. President, just, a comment on our new hires. Because of growth, I believe we added about 25, 27 teaching positions this year. And I know this month we're approving the hiring of 33. And I'm always interested in seeing where they're coming from, And here's what I found out. 4 were internal promotions in BISD, which is always a nice thing. That's a good thing. 3 came from the private sector, which means I'm assuming, getting their alternative certification, which is great to see that new people are entering the education field. 6 came from North Side, 2 from Northeast, 1 from Alamo Heights, our arch rival, 2 from Katy, 2 from Judson, 3 from nearby hill country districts such as Fredericksburg, Ingram, and Bandera, 1 from a private parochial school in the area, 1 from out of state, and 7 from other parts of Texas, which requires a move to Boerne. So I just thought this was interesting that, almost all except 1 were coming from the state of Texas, but we seem to be doing pretty well in attracting teachers from neighboring districts, which tells me something. So I think I just wanted to share that.
Great. Any other conversation? Is it all right? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Dr. Price, you want to make some announcements?
Yeah, as most of you are aware, we are in the process of building elementary number 8, and we are in that timeline where we need a leader, and we want to announce tonight that the leader of number 8, and I'm hoping that we have a name for that soon, but the leader for number 8 is Matt Myers. Matt's been with us for many, many years and has been elementary assistant, middle school assistant, principal at Currington now for 4 years. Wow, time flies. It's great when we see our folks grow, and one of the things I can tell you that I've watched Matt grow as an individual, as a leader, and he's what the next campus needs. He already has worked with the folks in that area, and so I'm very proud of him, very proud to announce that he's going to take over that leadership, and he's going to make sure that we finish out the year at Currington. But tomorrow he's going to be introducing the new principal at Currington, and we have her in the audience, Talia Hernandez, who comes to us from Northside. She has multiple years of experience as a principal at a bilingual campus, so she understands the needs of Currington, and I think she and Matt are going to work on a great transition, and this way she can be part of getting ready for next year, and we want to get you both up here for some pictures. So come on up to the front. Hey, we took a picture of everybody else. You can, come on. Bring your husband up. Mr. Hernandez, it's a family thing. We want us.
All right. Through the consent agenda, we will move on to governance and board report members. Maritza, you want to start? Nothing today? Okay. Jessica.
This week, the Bernie Education Foundation board members are enjoying a BEF road trip visiting BISD campuses to see the Teacher Innovation Grants in action, and we'll be wrapping up the school year with our last board meeting this Thursday, and I know BEF is planning a retreat sometime this summer in the near future. That's what I have.
Being the liaison for that. Mr. Wilson?
Nothing from me. I think Mr. Scott is going to give us an update here pretty soon on finance. So.
Okay. Dr. Tidwell?
Sure, I'll give an update on our facilities committee meeting. Just hit some highlights on elementary school number 8, which we just talked about. About 65% of foundation prep has been done, which is just cutting a hole on one side, filling in dirt on the other to get ready for the rest of the foundation. Let's see, we also discussed safety and security updates that were part of the bond, as well as we have received 4 propane buses with a lot of extra features. So that makes 15 of 16 buses that were purchased with the bond have been received. And then the last thing is preliminary design for secondary entrance for Voss is underway, and anyone who's either been there or driven past on 46 probably thinks that's an awesome thing. So that's the main highlights.
Awesome, thank you. Christy, I'm going to guess you don't have any reports today. We are excited to have you, and we'll get committees worked out between now and the next board meeting on who the liaison is and representatives are on those committees. Mr. Senna, I understand you have a short update on legislative activities.
Well, I could probably summarize it. It's in your packets. I could probably summarize it by every single bit in this report could change and probably will change in the next 2 weeks. We are entering crunch time. There's 2 weeks left to go in the legislative session. The last day is Memorial Day. They do have to adopt a budget by Saturday, the 27th. There's still up in the air as to what approach to property tax relief is going to take place. The Senate stresses homestead exemption increase and the House appraisal caps. So they're arguing over that, and the House Ways and Means Committee just advanced a bill to increase both of those, so which would increase the cost of property tax reduction. So we'll see what happens, but both sides clearly back so substantive and substantial property tax relief. That's going to happen. The budget, the Senate's version was $5 billion more than the House version. Most of that increased gap goes for infrastructure programs, strongly backed by the Lieutenant Governor. It remains to be seen how the differences there will be reconciled. Both chambers' budgets provide for $5 billion of additional K through 12 public ed funding beyond current law. That won't quite keep up with inflation, but it's not an insubstantial number. So we'll see exactly how that money is allocated. School safety, there are 3 bills under consideration. The House passed 2 bills, House Bill 3 and House Bill 13, which are kind of different. One puts a lot more money into school safety and security than the other one does, and they passed both of them. So the one that went to the Senate and the one that seems to be currying favor in the Senate is the one that allocates less money, but they say they're going to increase the amount of money from House Bill 3, but not as much as House Bill 13. So what's going to happen? Who knows? We'll stay tuned and we'll find out in the next 2 weeks. What does look like it will absolutely happen is a TRS retiree cost of living adjustment. There's not been a COLA in a decade. And in addition to a COLA, there'll be a one-time bonus for retirees over the age of 70. Donna Sharp and I were at the Kendall County Retired Teachers luncheon last week, and the president of the the former president of the Kendall County Retired Teachers doesn't turn 70 until January. So he's going to miss out on the $5,000. He was very disappointed in that. But everyone else in the room was happy because they're all over 70. So we'll see. But any event, the reason I bring up the TRS retiree cost of living is in addition to property tax relief, increasing the basic allotment to provide more money for public ed, TRS cost of living, these were all components of the legislative priorities that our district approved in August of last year, and which 20 community volunteers, which included Garrett, Carlin, myself, Christy, and 16 other people. We met with 70 legislators. Teacher retention and pay. Whenever I go visit a school, so are we going to get a raise? I'm like, well, we don't know yet. Yes, you'll get some sort of a raise, right, Dr. Price? We know where there's going to be a raise. We just don't know how much, and it depends if the legislature's cooperative. And pray. I'm going to hope they do the right thing. Senate Bill 9 funded a one-time retention bonus, if you will, but it's a one-time. It'll be a very substantial amount, but personally, I don't see what it makes sense to do it for 1 year and then not retain it. So House Bill 11, sponsored by Representative Harold Dutton out of Houston, includes all of the many of the recommendations made by the governor's teacher vacancy task force, but no specific funding for additional pay. So it's now in the Senate, and the Senate says they're going to increase the funding for that to factor in teacher pay. Once again, we'll find out by the end of the session. I did receive a response to an email sent to the leading legislative aide to the Senate Education Committee, laying out our points and how we felt about ongoing teacher compensation versus a one-time sugar rush. And he was very nice in response. He said, we're trying to honor all the requests you put in your email. And I'm like, I'm holding on to that email, let me tell you. Don't know what good it'll do, but we'll see. And other bills, there were two other bills. Senate Bill 1814 potentially prohibits districts from including defeasance, which is early payment of debt, which we've done the last 2 years. We've paid off about, Mr. Scott, approximately $5 million, or maybe more of debt early. More, 6 or 7 million. 3 million last year, 2.7, almost 6 million of debt, which saved us $2.5–3 million of interest. This bill, if it went through, would have prohibited us from doing that. So I don't understand why the legislature would want a school district not to pay off its debt early. That makes no sense to me. And I indicated that to all of our state representatives, and they expressed shock. I said, well, just remember that when it comes time to vote. And Senate Bill 418 would allow for students to transfer to any district or school of their choosing, parents' choosing, unless the district deems the campus is already at capacity. This is an interesting one. Some school districts in Texas are open enrollment. Our neighboring district, Comfort, is open enrollment. I don't know why you'd, not to diss them, but their elementary school got an F. I don't know why you'd put your kid, I should keep my mouth shut. Okay. But nonetheless, it'll be interesting to see how that, how that goes. Okay. So in any event, I gave you a lot of information, but no answers, because we don't have those answers yet. But next month we will, hopefully,
Mr. Scott, your fingers are feverishly working on the calculator to determine what's going to happen, right? We'll know on May 31st. They close on May 30th, so you'll tell us on the 31st, all right?
I can get the green light on, yes, sir.
Yeah, right. All right, any other board member reports? All right, Dr. Price, we're on to you. Superintendent report.
All right, we are 7 days away from graduation, which is a celebration in itself. I think we'll have about 700 graduates altogether over 2 days, and we're watching the weather every minute to make sure, and we'll make announcements. We will start rolling out information about the graduations, reminders of if there's rain, what we will be doing, and all the plans, and what you can and cannot bring to graduation. All those things, we'll start rolling those things out. You know, one of the things we do, I think a really good job about doing is talking about our partnerships, especially our business partnerships. But I want to talk about two other partnerships, or non-business partnerships, that we really couldn't do what we do without. This past month we had our retirement dinner, and we had it at 1910 Church. We needed a big space, and they donated that. I want to thank them. Called Jason Brown up, and I told him, you know, they've done this for 3 years now. Great partnership. And another one that I want to talk about is our convocation. We've been trying to squeeze more than 1,100 people into a space for less than 1,100 for convocation. And what we ended up doing was excluding parts of our family. We moved out transportation and food service and operations and maintenance, and it really made us very uncomfortable. We did their own celebration by themselves, but we wanted the whole group to be there. Convocation to me is very special because, now, as a teacher, I didn't like it, but that's a different story. As an administrator, I see the value in it, of us all getting together and celebrating, just celebrating the year to come. We're to the point we have to move to some other location. Well, now the biggest location, biggest auditorium around besides Champion is a church. And that is going to be where we will we'll work with Oak Hills. They've been very cooperative, very excited about having our staff come out for convocation. And this year Avi does a great job of orchestrating all that, and we've got a pretty good plan to kick off a great year coming up. So two very good partnerships that we support each other as we go. So I want to thank them. Some other real quick highlights. I think you saw on the screen, we were named National Showcase Schools for 3 of our campuses, for Currington, for Herff, and for Fair Oaks Ranch, for capturing kids' hearts. And one of really very few throughout the United States. Great, because again, it shows a big crux of capturing kids' hearts is making sure there is relationships in our schools to support our students. And as we heard, the best thing to make success for students is an important relationship at the school with other students and with adults. So it's a great thing for our kids. Another thing, I was amazed at how many people were part of the Champion Theater, and we announced that they won a bronze. But the other thing we didn't talk about was the whole, and I don't quite get the thing, but the whole theater group, which includes filmmaking and everything else, was bronze for the state also. So the whole group. It just shows just creativity that we have at our students, and just very proud of them as we go forward. A couple of years ago, Stan started something that I thought was neat, was the fifth grade track meet. And we did that today, and it was Currington and Fabra, and I understand that Troy and Matt raced. Who won? Who won? That's what I thought. Okay. But again, building relationships. That's something that, everybody can remember. Who's going to forget their 2 principals racing on a track day? So that's pretty neat about what our folks will do. Earlier tonight we met our high school track students, and one of the things that really got my attention, again, I've watched a lot of track meets, a lot of football, all the things, but we had a young lady, a freshman, Beth Leachman, win the 1600, and here's what was unique about it. Now do this with me. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007, 1008, 1009. That's how that she won by 9 seconds in a state meet, which is unreal. I've never seen that before. I mean, to be running for a state championship and to beat the competition by 9 full seconds is just remarkable. And she's only a freshman. So we know Coach Tate's very excited about that. So workforce is this week, the workforce. We used to be Workforce Wednesday. Now it's, I think, Tuesday and Friday. That's coming up. We have over 40 employers who are going to meet with our students and give them that opportunity to be employees. And it's something, again, our business folks need and our children need. They need that experience to get that first job. And it offers jobs, internships, a lot of other things. But it's a great effort, and Yvette's behind that, and we want to thank her, and I don't think she's here today. Also, we set a record last year for scholarships, and we broke that record big time. $22 million in scholarships for our students, $11 million in each campus. You know, there's always the competition of who's best. It's neat that it's about $11 million each. That's pretty good. And I think last year was $13 million. So that's not just broke it, we crushed it. Kind of like the 9-second thing. We experienced something real neat also this week. Whataburger decided to name What a Teacher, and we got to go out and visit Brooke Taylor at South, and she's always doing something creative. And she was doing something creative, and most of the time she had these great big hula goggles on as we were trying to do it. So very neat. Also, over 130 of our student athletes this year, and we still are not finished, have been named All-State Academic. So not only fast, but smart. That's a great accomplishment for our district. And we are going to be busy with playoff softball and playoff baseball this week. We already know that there's going to be a 1-game BHS versus Alice on Friday. CHS and Smithton will be in a 3-game series at the end of the week, and Bernie High School is waiting for the winner of Sealy and Navarro. And we will know what that will be tomorrow morning, right? So it's a busy, good things that are going on. That's for the updates. Earlier tonight during closed session, I shared with you the end of the year district-wide intruder audit report. This is something that's new to us. It's something that the governor put in place where an intruder paid by the state would visit campuses and check doors, then report out to us, and we reported those results to you. We're just about finished. Not quite all of the campuses have been audited yet, but so far so good and overall, and we will report this also to our Safety and Security Committee. The other thing that I want to let you know, and we discussed this also, is that we've learned a lot this year, and one of the things that with Rick being on board as our Chief of Safety and Security, he's taken the opportunity as the year winds down to meet with the staffs to go over, just again, the importance of the doors being locked. What do we need to do during a lockout? What do we need to be doing during a crisis? And he's going out with our SROs and having those conversations. He's targeting the 3 middle schools right now. It's South, Voss, and trying to get to North before the end of the year. And what we don't get to, we will kick off at the beginning of the year, because it's important as we go through understanding what you need to do to keep ourselves safe. So thank you, Rick, for doing that for us. Any questions about the audit that I can answer? Remember, it's a safety thing, so safety's in, as a whole, is in closed session. All right, that's all I have.
All right, if there's no questions for Dr. Price, we'll move on to action items. Business is on the agenda, so Mr. Scott.
Evening, everybody. I guess I just want to say as we get started, I want to welcome Miss to the dais. I'm very envious of you tonight. You get to hear your first business report. I cannot imagine the anticipation you must be feeling right now.
You know, Wes, I was wondering if you were bringing a joke tonight.
Normally, these get pretty loud and rowdy. People like to comment during these, so if we don't get to talk afterwards, you're welcome. All right, you've been provided the results of operations financially for the district through April 30th, and that is 10 of 12 months out of our fiscal year gone. The most significant thing I would say about this report is there's a small budget amendment to the general fund that's been proposed. That's for $44,000 when we brought one-time costs in October. There were things that we wanted to do, and for safety and security, we've done an RFP for those things. Just a little bit higher than allocated, so this $1,000 of those items. For the most part, the results of operations are within expectations. Budgetary constraints. The Child Nutrition Fund at this point in time has a $280,000 surplus. We'll see how they wrap up here. We have about, I'm anticipating about 1.2 million in collections from the general fund related to property tax in May and June that would get us up to our normal collection percentage. We're right on track at this point in time. Otherwise, it is a nice, clean, boring report. If you've got any questions or concerns.
Yeah, I just have a couple of questions, Wes. The penalty, I know taxes were due in January, and then there's small penalties. Don't the penalties really start becoming more significant like in July after the fiscal year's over?
Well, they certainly increased after January. I was taking a look at they we budget about $400,000 in the general fund for penalties and interest, and I know last year we had shot beyond that quite a bit. This year we're not incurring as much penalty and interest. We've only got about $250,000.
Yeah, because I noticed you mentioned the 1.2 million. That's about what we collected last year in May and June, and logic would indicate that would happen again. So if that's the case, we would exceed our local and intermediate revenue estimate for the year, which is a good thing. State aid, looks like they still owe us 2.4 million. Is there any reason to think we won't receive that from the state?
Oh no. Of the 11 million we have budgeted for state revenues, we've got our foundation revenues, which is the formula where you go through and figure out how much we're going to pay in property taxes and how much the state's going to pay, and when you walk through that formula, we only pay 90 million of it, and then the state chips in a whole 477,000. That's from Tier 2 funding. That's what we've actually been paid 800,000, so we're going to get a little bit of that back. The per capita funding from the available school fund composed about just under $7 million, and they still owe us $0.8 million. We'll get the bulk of that in July and August, but we'll accrue for that and recognize that revenue.
So between the state revenue coming in and additional property taxes, we will exceed the original budgeted amount of revenue for the year.
Yes.
Good.
I would think from total revenues in the general fund probably exceed budget by $5
million. Yeah. Thank you.
Sure.
Hey Wes, along those same lines, so in the total budget, we're going to show interest income on bond funds, but I know the arbitrage on that is not ours to keep. So is that already netted out?
It is not. We're sending a lot of information to Health Securities for them to calculate what the arbitrage rebate liability would be, and I don't anticipate getting that until after the fiscal year end. We'll make that adjustment.
Journal entries later, okay. Other question on the safety and security budget amendment, that I didn't see an offsetting, so that's a fund balance adjustment?
Yes, sir. That's fund balance.
Any other questions for Mr. Scott?
Mr. President, I move to approve the budget amendments, donation report, and tax collection report as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Not. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Last item is future business items. Our next meeting is June the 19th. Be our regular meeting, even though it's a federal holiday. We have a public hearing on the budget, and then we have to approve a budget that day for submission to TEA. So, any other business items? If not, you want to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.